How's it going, everyone? Thanks for stopping by. My name is Anthony Locke. I am the creator of this channel. I am a photographer. I love photography. It is such an amazing hobby to do. A little bit about myself. I have been doing photography for a few years now, so I would say more than a few years. A good, solid, at least 4 or 5 years. And I've learned a lot in that timeline. So that's one of the reasons I started this channel. I wanted to be able to give some suggestions and tutorials and everything in between and more for, let's say, upcoming photographers, current photographers, and people who are just wanting to improve their photography skills. Um, Other things about me is that I go to Weber State University. It's located in Ogden, Utah. I grew up here in the great state of Utah. I've lived in Davis County more than half of my life. I am currently majoring in athletic therapy up there at Weber State. My end goal would be to become a physical therapist. But I do photography on the side. I consider it like a side gig. It's a very fun little outlet to do. Um, some other things of how I got started in photography was that back in 2013 I was working at McDonald's of all places, and I would get berated and just treated terribly at work when I was working at McDonald's, and I would go home feeling really terrible, feeling like a pile of garbage, honestly, and I would grab my phone because that's really how I started out. Was I started out with a smartphone, and I would tell my family, I'm just gonna go take photos. I'll be back, and that was my way to relieve stress, was to go and take photos. And so the more and more I did it, the more and more I enjoyed it. And it got to the point where I would post a lot of my photos on Instagram. I'd share them with friends, family, through Facebook, through other social media platforms, and even through text messages. And it really just became a part of me. Photography kind of evolved with me in that regard, at least in my life. And so after a few years of doing photography with my smartphone, I showed a few shots to my oldest brother, who's been doing photography for about 15 plus years. And he approached me after a few years, after those initial shots that I showed him, and asked if I had ever considered doing this professionally, because he felt that I had the eye for it. And at first, honestly, I turned him down. Yeah, I turned him down. So, George, if you're watching this, I apologize that I turned you down at first, because this is a fantastic way to express my artistic talents. And so after turning him down, I was thinking about it at work the next day or so, and the more and more I thought about it, I thought, that would actually be a pretty great idea to do. And so I decided to do it. And then about 6 months later, I got my first DSLR, and the rest is history. So the tutorial I wanted to give was just things I wish I would have known when I was first starting photography. And number one is that without a DSLR, your prints, like let's say if you again have a smartphone, your prints that you print off, if you print more than a size bigger than 8 by 10, they're going to come out blurry, they're going to come out pixelated, and really no one's going to want to buy them. And that advice was given to me by one of my mentors. I had two mentors during all this, and it was my brother George, and I had a church leader whose name was Greg Sargent, who was my other mentor. And Greg told me a lot of people won't want to buy mobile prints because they can only blow them up to like 8 by 10, 8 by 11, and so you're just not going to really get much money off of it. And obviously, I was frustrated about that, because I felt like my prints, my photos, my everything that I took was really great, and I wanted to make money off of it. But that's not why I started photography. That's not why I started photography at all. So I continued on, and I remember the first photo shoot that I did, and this goes back to my tutorial on things I wish I would have known. My brother George, who was one of my mentors, he told me, he's like, "No, I don't want you charging people for photo shoots yet." He's like, "You need to get experience with photography. So you need to start offering free photo shoots to people, get experience under your belt, learn how to use the programs to edit photos, and then after a while, you'll be good enough that you can start charging." So obviously, as someone like me, that wasn't the greatest news to hear, but at the same time I understood. And now, you flash forward to where I am now, I completely understand why he said that, because my first photo shoot, it was terrible. It was completely terrible. Photos were out of focus. My editing skills on the various programs were terrible. I think one of the photos I used way too much clarity, and it just made it look washed out. It was not a good photo session. And when I look back at it, I just think in my mind, like, man, I was that green when it came to photography back then. Other things I wish I would have known was that photography takes time. Like, you're not going to get a DSLR and start popping out all these amazing shots so that people want to buy. Like, it takes time, it takes patience. Some friends and I, we hate that word patience because we get very impatient at times with aspects of our lives, but photography takes patience. It takes so much patience. I can't even describe how much patience it takes. With a lot of the photographs that I've edited, whether it be landscape or family, like sometimes I've had to edit on it, and I've had to take a break from it, walk away for a few days, and come back and edit on it again. There's a shot that I actually took at this location that we're at right now. I took like over 3 years ago, and I started working on it a little bit, but then I just kind of set it aside and forgot about it until about a year ago. And I went back and I started editing on it again, and it just turned out an amazing, beautiful shot because I stepped away from it. I forgot about it because of school and other aspects of my life. And so photography takes time. Another thing I wish I would have known with photography at the very beginning was that you will deal with some very unhappy clients who try to tell you what to do, and they sometimes have uncooperative individuals, whether it be family members or other individuals in their shots that don't want to cooperate. I've had experiences with that, and it's not fun, but you have to just grin and bear it, smile, and just shake your head yes, because that's what us photographers do. We just smile and shake our head yes, and we just go with the flow. Another thing that I wish I would have known is that photography is not an easy field to get into. Everybody and their brother is a photographer. And I'm not saying that to discourage anyone. I'm saying that to say, like, you gotta stand out. You gotta stand out in some way. I follow a YouTuber named Peter McKinnon, and he even mentioned how when he first started out in photography, like, he was really just rusty. Even one of his YouTube videos was labeled, terrible photographer. And that's how I was at the very beginning. Like, I was a very terrible photographer. I look at the editing skills and how I took photos at the very beginning, and they were okay, but they improved and progressed over time. So this location that we're at right now is called the Great Salt Lake Northern Lines, or as many people here in the Davis County area know, it's the bird refuge. There's a lot of wildlife and wilderness out here. It's a great place to come out and take photos. Like I mentioned earlier, I got one of my favorite shots out here at sunset. Great place for taking engagements, honestly. So if you're here in the state of Utah, come up here to Davis County and check this place out. It's amazing. It's a fantastic place to take some engagements, family shots, or even just to take a walk honestly, and take some scenic shots. So here we go. So my final thoughts on what I wish I would have known as a photographer starting out would be that location is key. I can't stress that enough. Location is key. I've been to places where the location was bad, but the families wanted the photos done there. But I obliged. But as you've seen here, this is a fantastic place to take family portraits, engagements, photos of nature, video of nature. But you also saw earlier in the video some aspects from another location, and that was at a park called Castle Park, located in Fruit Heights, Utah. And again, that place is a fantastic place to go take engagements, family photos, photos of nature, video of nature. You name it, you can probably do it there. Same here. But these are just a few places here in the county that I reside in that are great places to take photos. But honestly, when it comes down to it, photography is meant to be fun. It is meant to just give you the opportunity to capture moments in time that you want to remember. Whether it be that you're taking family photos or engagements or whatever you're wanting to take, that is what photography is meant to do, to be able to capture these special moments in time that you can enjoy for the rest of your life. But now on to the awesome surprise that I have hinted at. Anyone who likes and subscribes on this channel and also comments below will be entered to win a copy of one of my prints. I have various prints, and as you watch this video, I will be in the process of working on another print. This is going to be a 24 by 36 print, so make sure you go like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, turn the bell on so you can get notified of all my videos, and comment on what you liked most about this video, whether it be the locations I showed you or the advice I gave. Just tell me what you liked. And from the time you view this video, you have 2 days to do so before the contest ends. So in 2 days this contest will end, and I will announce the winner next week. Thanks, guys.